Here is your sports betting podcast for Wednesday, March the 11th, offshoreinsiders.com. We're going to try to get out the podcast a little bit earlier this week and certainly next week in the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament with the day games. We are on fire. Joe Duffy's picks 20-11 in college basketball. Actually, lately even hotter when it comes to the conference tournaments. Now, because we're getting this report out early, we have one game pending in the NBA, but we're 11-3 in the NBA. Get a college basketball side for 6:30 Eastern time, and by the time you hear this report, likely we'll have some more picks up. We'll have plenty of more picks up, very likely Wednesday morning, that is. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com. Pittsburgh and NC State. Pittsburgh is 7-20 their last 27. All records are against the spread unless we specify otherwise. Like we're going to do here, they enter on a 3-game straight-up losing streak, and they lost by 9 and 10 points against the spread in their last 2. So they are slumping at the wrong time. NC State 6-1 the last 7. 3 by 9 or more. Now, that is all ATS when we're talking about state. Again, all these records are against the spread unless we otherwise note. Colorado State and Oregon State. Oregon State, 2-10 the last 12. 3 times in the last 6 games, they failed by 13.5 or more. Rutgers and Minnesota. Now, remember, we like to use the Ken Palm luck factor, and basically the handicapping theory is the luckier teams are going to be overvalued because they're not as good as the record. The unluckiest teams are going to be undervalued and underrated because they're a little bit better than their straight-up record states. Minnesota is the 344th luckiest team in the nation out of 351 teams in Division I. Rutgers is 87th. So, according to that theory, you would certainly put the check mark in Minnesota's column pending corroborating information. Air Force in New Mexico. New Mexico, Deshaun Delaney is out. Heck of a player. 30 games, 11.8 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Eastern Michigan and Bowling Green. Big injury for Bowling Green. Rashawn Holmes is questionable. 29 games, 14.7 points. 8 rebounds. George Mason and Fordham. Eric Paschal is probable. He averages 16.5 points per game. Southeast Louisiana and McNeese State. SLE, Southeast Louisiana's A. Jackson is doubtful. This is no small injury. 15.4 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, 4.6 assists. Some NBA news and notes. Brooklyn and Miami. Brooklyn back-to-back in 3 games in 4 days. Orlando and Milwaukee. Orlando back-to-back in 3 games in 4 days. Detroit and Golden State. Detroit back-to-back in 3 games in 4 days, while Golden State is playing 3 games in 4 days as well, though not in a back-to-back situation. Again, folks, Joe Duffy's picks will have all the best picks. Offshoreinsiders.com. www.offshoreinsiders.com.